So, how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. We've got a show tonight that I think you're all going to enjoy. It's a subject matter that is kind of age-related, but you're going to get it even if you're not over 40. And it's this whole idea about creators making progress and some of the problems that creators are experiencing and making progress. So, throughout my coaching, I've been working with creators from different various stages in their career, and there seems to be this pervasive idea that's holding people back. And one of them is this whole idea about, the age that they are. They're too old. Is it a young person's game, this whole social media? Is a creator economy just for young people? If I'm over 30, am I FUCK'd? If I'm over 40, am I, Well, it depends, right? It all depends. There is an idea, if you're willing to explore it, and we're going to get into 10 of the ideas that I think are blocking people from really exploding their career, taking what they're doing to that next level, and then having some enjoyment, right? Of course, this is business-related stuff. This is creator-related stuff. Well, of course, this is about enjoying what we do, right? This is about having fun in our creative pursuits, right? Flip side to that as well is that we've got to make a living, right? We've got to make a living at what we're doing here as well. If you're full-time in employment and some of you, this is your side gig, brilliant. I know some of you that want to make your side gig your main gig. So this is going to be relevant for you as well. But I know there's some creators out there who are struggling. And one of the reasons you're struggling, and before we start, if you guys are getting some value out of this, please share this with your people. Share this with other creators out there who could do with some of the topics that, I'm sharing. Get them to join the community. Get them to, spread the word a little bit. Let's try and build this community out. And, I want as many creators to get some of this value and to, experience some of the stuff that we've been talking about over the last couple of months. Again, please, I'm asking some of you guys that who haven't joined the mailing list, please join the mailing list. Stay in touch, help us figure out some ideas of where we want to take this. Feedback in the comments, that we know as well. And also at the end of it, they're going to ask for something for you guys as well. So please stay on and we're going to have a discussion for some of you people who want to take this a bit further. But let's dive in. Over 40 and not making progress. What's the problem? Nostalgia. I've said this before. A lot of creators, if you're over 40, if you're over 30, this is going to be a problem for you. You're stuck in nostalgia. You're stuck in this old way of working. You're stuck in this way of working that you think is still relevant today. We're moving into the future. We're moving into a whole new era. We're moving into... This is the light speed era. This is the Luke Skywalker era. This is the Jedi era where we've got AI. We've got so much technology. Again, look at what we're communicating on. We are in a new age. Why are we still fixated on trying to do things that were done 25 years ago, 30 years ago? We're in a whole new era now. We're in a whole new way of doing what we're doing. We don't have to do it that way. We don't have to do it the old way. There's a new way of doing it. And so I actually creators out there who are still stuck in this whole nostalgic way of doing things, just take a step back. Look, what is it that you are trying to achieve? Like, break it down. What is it you're trying to achieve? You're trying to get, if you're making music, you're trying to get recognized. You're trying to sell your products. You're trying to, create a recognizable brand. There's many different ways to do that today. You're trying to start a design company. You're maybe not so much for design companies, but you try to be a creator and you're thinking about it like the old days. You got to get a CV. You got to go to college. You got to go to uni. You don't need to do any of those things anymore. There's a new way of getting your content out. There's new ways of storytelling. You have to reinvent the way things are done. And that's what today is about. This is what this new technology and stuff is about. New ways to reinvent ourselves. And that's what this session today is about. how do we reinvent yourselves? How do we reinvent yourselves? And especially the older creators, I'm talking to you creators out there. So I'm talking to you creators out there who are generally older than the younger crowd that, who are dominating social media. But if you're over 30, you're over 40, if you're over 50, this is particularly for you. It's like, you can reinvent yourself. You can create a new story. You can design a new life for yourself. You've got a full-time gig, this could be your side hustle. If this is your main hustle, you want to do it, there's ways to do it. Check some of these live streams and these recordings that we've been doing over the last couple of weeks. You'll be able to figure it out. If you want to take a step further, come on some of the courses that I'm giving at the moment and I'm going to be developing in the future. I can help you rethink your strategies, redesign, reframe, rebuild your ideas and create something new, create something exciting. Right? You don't have to keep thinking that the only way to do something is the way it used to be done, the way it had been done, and the way that you were taught to do things back in the day. Now is the time to upgrade. Now is the time to upskill. Now is the time to learn some new, different ways to get to that next step. So what's another reason for creators to be stuck and not making progress is, you believe in the lie. What's the lie? The lie is that you only have to build a website and people will come and populate. I only have to put my work up online and people will come and populate. No, it's not that simple, right? If it was that simple, we'd all be doing it. There's some work to do. There are so many different ways to build what you're doing, and you don't need a website as much as you do. More likely, you'll need a funnel. And I'm not going to get into what the funnel's about in this call, but do some research. Check out what Russell Brunson talks about. He's the funnel master. Create landing pages, create reels, stories, figure out new ways to connect with your community, figure out new ways to actually start testing some of your ideas. Some people, I think, right, haven't really tested some of their hypotheses. What do I mean? They've got this idea about what it is that they want to do. They've got this idea that they think is the only way that they're going to be able to do it is this certain way. It's like, no, you've got a way to experiment. That's what social media, to me, really feels like. It's a platform to experiment with those different ideas. I know people out there have got 10, 15 different accounts on these different platforms that they use different names and they're testing those different ideas. Could you do something like that? You've got a project that you're not quite sure people like, don't use your real name then. Set up a platform and go and test it. Set up something and go figure out whether you can, if there's any traction behind it. Do something called an MVP, a minimum viable product, which just allows you to test the ideas for people to see whether it's going to work or not. What's the minimum amount of work that you need to do to test it, to get it out in the world, to see if people like it? You've got to experiment. Don't just believe in what everyone says about you, that you're too old, that you've got to go to uni, that you've got to study, that you do have to study though. That you have to study in a certain way, that you can't learn online. All these rules that people have made up because that's the rules and structures that they came through. That doesn't mean that you have to do it. So you have to now break free of that way. Can you tell us the site for me again, please? Yeah, I will do that at the end, sorry. So quickly though, it's adaptthecanvas.com, join the mailing list. Thank you for that, Nikki. So there's lots of different ways to be flexible, to be different, to be unique, to do something your way, that you don't have to do it the set structure way. And especially now, this is the best time. Again, I'm gonna keep saying the same thing every week, right? Yes, for Slayer, you do have to study again, right? But you have to study in something that you want to enjoy. That's the key, right? And sometimes you'll have to study with something that is a bit challenging, but it's going to make you grow, right? And that's the other side of the coin. Sometimes it's going to be difficult. Sometimes it's going to be a struggle. Sometimes it's going to be hard. But you've got to remember, you've got to put yourself in your future self mentality, right? So there's a side note. Jeff Bezos, when he decided whether to do Amazon or not, he did a future self exercise, and it was he imagined himself at 80 years old, and he made the decision based on what his life was going to be like at 80 years old. The first decision was, if I don't take the risk now and start Amazon, what's going to happen? He's going to be imagine himself at 80 years old, and he didn't do Amazon. How would he feel? And they did the same exercise when he did do Amazon, and he's 8 years old. And so we obviously know which decision he made. So think about that for yourself. Like, you're going to believe in what everybody else says that you should do based on their experience. Right? I know creators out there who are still waiting to get started because they don't think they have the right skills, the right qualifications, the right knowledge. Right? And that might be true, but that doesn't mean you can't just start with what you know and what you have. Right? Here, every project that I've been in for the last 20 years, I haven't known how to achieve it. I haven't known what the right thing to do is. I haven't known where to start. You know what I do? I just start. I just get going. So ask yourself, where can you just get going? Where can you just start so that you can learn on the way? Right? You gain skills on the way. You build momentum up. You learn from the people around you, and you just build. You just learn. You take one step at a time. You do the one thing that you know how to do. Ask someone for help. Join a mailing list. Right? You just do one thing that you know going to get you the next step, the next step, the next step. So it's not really about trying to figure out the whole thing in one go. It's like, what's the one thing I do know how to do? Well, I know how to go and ask that person for help. I know how to go and sign up there. I know how to go and read that forum, go and check that mailing list. Whatever it is, you do know the first step to take, the next step to take. So take that step. Start accessing your own creativity, your own wisdom in your own mind. So you're doing things in the wrong order. It's another reason why people aren't making enough progress. You do things in the wrong order. Lots of people, we've been told that when you want to set up a business, you go and you get a website, you go and buy the domain name, right? And then, you spend £2,000-3,000 building a website, and then you start trying to get people to come onto your website and buy your stuff and get interested in your stuff. You don't even know if the stuff that you're doing people want. Right? How many people out there have gone out there and just started a website without actually knowing if people want what you have, the product that you're selling or the service that you're selling? Right? There's another way to do it. Like I said, we create an MVP, or you do surveys. Right? There's loads of different ways to get around this, but you're doing things in the wrong order. You haven't validated the idea first. You haven't figured out if the thing that you're doing actually solves a problem. Right? So forget trying to start a website. Forget trying to get business cards. Forget trying to, create some elaborate business by, a building and set. It's like, stop. What problem are you solving? Who are you helping? And I know this I'm just making music. No. That time where I'm just doing this, that time's done. You need to be specific and optimized around your creativity. And I know, your creativity doesn't need to be structured and stuff like that. Let me tell you, I was the biggest skeptic in all of this stuff. And if you knew, people who saw my work haphazard working, I would spend days on brainstorming ideas. I would spend days on, making sounds. I'm the king of making sounds, just sitting in the studio, pressing buttons all day long and loving it. And trust me, I could still do that today, but I had to really focus in on what am I optimizing for? What exactly is it that I'm trying to achieve where I'm just making sounds? What am I doing? I had to really zoom in for a few reasons. I need to get more succinct, specific, but I need to get more, not clarity or certainty, but I just need to use my time better, right? I need to figure out how to streamline the process. I need to think about, I could have just been in this process for hours and hours and hours. I wanted to make a lot of projects, and I wanted to do a lot of other things. I wanted to start another business. I wanted to be more present for my family. So I had to work in a different way. So I had to get really
efficiency, yeah, but more about how to get organized in a way so that I could still do the brainstorming and the creative work around executing on, still getting my sound, because that still needed experimentation, but it didn't need me to do it all day. It didn't need me to be waffling around trying to, being creative land. I need to get focused. I need to get direction. And that took discipline. That took focus. That took a different way of thinking based on the bigger picture that I had, right? And once I got the bigger picture, I enabled myself to really chop down and understand where I was going to allocate my time, still not sacrificing the end outcome. And I can break all this down on, when you guys join the course that I'm delivering, I can really go deeper into this. And of course, I've shared this on many different workshops. There's an Elevate workshop that I did many years ago, all online, where I break down exactly how I did that and how I still use the same system. But it's really about getting discipline and focus and really understanding how to use my time efficiently, and to not compromise on my sound. And that was very, very important, not to compromise on my sound. And by changing that way of thinking and operating, I actually start to get better results. I actually start to think more efficiently, more effectively. My projects started to expand, and I became a much better creator. But that took different type of thinking, of really trying to understand what was my big dream, what was my big goal, right? So think about that again as a creator. What's your big goal? What's your big vision? And what's the best way to actually accomplish that, right? You start to break it down in a slightly different way, and through some of the stuff that I can help you with, we can cut away with a lot of the stuff that people think they have to do. You'll save money, you'll save time, and you'll get to the core of what it is you're doing, that you can figure out what people want, how people want it, and then you deliver that specific thing to the exact audience who wants it, speeding up the process. So imagine not building a website. Imagine not doing half the things that you're doing because you think these are the most important things to do to get to where you're getting to, where we can do these two things over here, and all of a sudden you're getting much more feedback a lot quicker. 6 weeks instead of 2 years, right? Changes the game. What's another thing that people struggle with? Not trusting themselves. What do I mean? You got instinct, you got your imagination, you got your intuition. And as a creator, that is your toolkit for trying to get to whatever it is that you're going to get to, your next level. The thing that's going to help you make progress. As a creator, what is it that you most desire to do, right? You want to create something new. You want to create something exciting. You want to create something so brand new, so exciting that's the thing that breaks your career to that next level. That's the thing that introduces you to a whole new audience, where you continue to go around and around, copying people, uninspired by doing the things you think everyone else is doing. That's the thing that's going to get to that next level. It's a bit soul destroying, because you might not be able to get the result that you want. And once you go down these downward spirals by just following what everyone else does, you are listening to the conventional wisdom. You were listening to the status quo. This is the way that you're supposed to do stuff. You're watching all this YouTube stuff, all these free tutorials, and don't get me wrong, some of the free tutorials are good stuff, but you cannot do everything from the free tutorials. You have to invest in yourself. You have to be around people that do the thing that you want to do for a living. It's a different way of thinking. Even going to study the stuff in these universities, colleges, some of the people who are teaching these courses haven't done it for a career. They're not earning money. They haven't got the life on the line, in the sense that they got a paycheck that's not related to the thing that they're teaching, right? Different ballgame when you meet someone who's actually living and breathing the thing that you want to do, and you're seeing how they operate in real time in the game. Different mindset, different strategy, right? Why is it so powerful? Because every day when you're in the game, the game's changing, the game's upgrading, right? And we could all see how fast everything's changing. because of the way information is traveling around the planet now. We're all thinking different things and we're all being inspired. We're all seeing the results in real time on social media, how things are changing and how that affects us, because we're now upgraded. We're seeing how we can potentially do something. You imagine that I learned this thing last week and I mentioned it, but the world's information used to take 45 years to double. So imagine that, the year's information, the planet's information doubled every 45 years. Now it's every 12 hours. Right? Every 12 hours, the world's information doubles. That's what we're competing with, but that's also the opportunity that we're getting, the information and knowledge that we have to upskill and upgrade ourselves. How long did it take before information got to our country from all around the world without the technology that we got now? Days, weeks, months sometimes. Now it's instant. We know exactly what's going on in Australia before someone in Australia does, because it's all social. So that means that the speed that we can actually start actioning ideas a lot quicker. The knowledge that we have to spread around the planet, all this information, is a lot quicker, right? So we have the ability to adapt a lot quicker. So we don't have to do things right the way that we do. We don't have to, struggle, use resistance. We can just operate on a different level. We can learn how to use our imagination. We can learn how to use our intuition. We can learn how to use our instincts on a different level, start trusting ourselves, right? Trusting the way that we want to do things by ourselves. Because if we have a great idea, that great idea is meant for you. You don't have to go out there and get permission or, get everyone to agree that this idea that you've got is a great idea. No, trust your instincts. Trust your beliefs. Trust that you've got enough skill and enough knowledge for you to be able to make it happen. And that's one of the things that holds people's back. They doubt themselves. They doubt this is a good idea. Why? Again, because everyone else says it might not work. And then, everyone else, who are these people, these guardians at the gate that are telling you that your idea is worthy or not, your idea is a good idea or not? Who are these people? Well, right? It's like, where did they come from? Why are we listening to them? Why they got more experience in the world than we had? So challenge that, right, in them, not directly though, but you challenge it in yourself, in your thinking. You challenge that, why do I think that this isn't a good idea? Why do I think that their ideas are better than mine, or they're more qualified to tell me whether this idea is working or not? When we haven't done, one of the other things we talked about is by doing an experiment. We just do an experiment to test the idea. We just see if it's going to work or not by using it on the people that are eventually going to use the service or use the product, right? So what's another reason why people struggle to make progress? Because we haven't learned to play the real game. Right? What's the real game in this whole thing? What is your, ability to be uncomfortable for long enough so that you can really figure out what it is that you were good at, you figure out what you got the knowledge and the skills and the patterns and the habits to really dive deep and really discover what's really going on. Because we're all transfixed on this whole idea about what social media is providing for us, what online stuff's providing for us. But unless you start getting into play the real game as it is being played by the people around you who are starting real businesses, who are starting real, creating real products, who are having real conversations, with real customers, real clients, testing these ideas. Otherwise, it's like we're not really basing what it is that you're doing on anything of substance, right? It's just hearsay. It's just ideas. It's stuff that you are making up that you haven't really tested in front of people. You haven't really gone to where everyone else is doing what they're doing so you could test your hypothesis. Right? So eventually it has to mean something. Eventually it has to, meet other people so you can see what the reaction is, to see whether it's actually real or not, to the degree that you're going to find out whether it's actually create any value. It actually solves any problem. So we have to get in the game. We have to play the real game. We can't sit on the sidelines, keeping on wondering whether this idea is a good idea or not. And so why am I saying a lot of this stuff? Because I'm meeting people, I'm coaching people, and I'm having these conversations with potential clients, and they're on the sidelines, and they're waiting for permission. They're waiting to be allowed to. They're waiting to be allowed to do this stuff. Like, who are you waiting for permission from? Who's going to allow you to do what it is that you want to do? Right? When you really break it down, it's like, who's really stopping you from experimenting? Who's really stopping you from trying out this stuff, right? Is it fear of failure? Is it fear that you're going to make a mistake and, what's going to happen when you make a mistake? What's going to happen when, and let me just break it down for you. You are going to make a mistake. You are going to fail. If you're serious about what you want to do, if you're serious about making progress in your career, making progress on a creative project, making progress in your business, to get to that next level, whatever the next level is the next financial level, adding stat, getting bigger clients, introducing another product, finishing an album, starting an album, you will fail. Part of the growth that you will need to go through is failing, is making a mistake, but it's not the end. That's the key. The failing and the making a mistake are vital processes in your growth. These are the things that will help you learn, get you outside of your comfort zone, get you outside of what you normally do to help you go further. When we stay in the same rut, when we stay in the same thing that we're comfortable doing, this is what this is. Basically, what I'm describing here, over 40 and not making progress, is people want to stay comfortable. They want to stay comfortable and they want to grow. You cannot do both. You cannot get to the next stage in your life and your career by doing the same thing that got you here. It just doesn't work. I'm breaking it down into manageable chunks so that the creators out there who need to hear this can tune into the one specific or two specific things that I'm mentioning and say, that's me. I'm doing that. I'm stuck in nostalgia. I'm still trying to write a record the old way. I'm still trying to get signed to a label. I'm still trying to build a website. I'm still trying to do X, whatever the X is in the old way. That's, oh my God, I need to hear that. But what is the new way? Right? I'm believing in what everyone else is telling me. I haven't done enough research. I'm too busy. I don't know where to start. I'm just trying to give you some frames to help you think differently, to position yourself and to help you remind you, you are a powerful creator. You're not stuck. You just haven't figured out the right way to go or a new way to go. There's so many different choices, and sometimes I feel like that's what the problem is as well. We're paralyzed by choice. We're overthinking. We've got the decision fatigue. And part of that is the social. Part of that is everybody online telling us what the right thing to do is, what the wrong thing to do is. If you do this, you're going to get that. If you do that, you're going to get that. And if you don't do that, you're going to be this. And so, I need to know the right thing to do before I start. It's like you don't need to know the right thing to do before you start. You just need to start. There isn't a right thing to do. You cannot know what the right thing to do is before you start. You just got to get going. You just got to try stuff. You've got to try as many different things as you want to figure out along the way. And that's what this is about. We throwing ideas at you. We've had about 6 weeks of these calls now where I'm just giving you ideas and giving you different ways to think and opening up your minds to possibility. Right? To possibility, to curiosity. I want you to start thinking in terms of, I wonder, what if? I'm curious. That's interesting. Right? Feel that. When you say that, what's different as you say it is a flow coming through you. What is the possibility that X can happen? That's interesting that I'm thinking those thoughts. I wonder what can happen, right? And or there's no restriction. We're just pondering this idea. We're not certain. It's not yes or no. It's not even a maybe. It's more open than that. We're stepping into curiosity. We're stepping into wonder. We're stepping into an openness to just be, right? And in that space, we've just opened up a bit more space, because reality isn't what we think it is. And the more space we get, the more space we allow ourselves, the more choice that we have. Because why am I reading these lists that people have? Because they're not giving themselves enough choice in the moment to explore new opportunities. You're stuck in nostalgia. They believe in the lie. They're doing things in the wrong order. They don't trust themselves. They haven't learned to play the real game. What does all that mean? Lack of choice, restriction, belief in other people's reality. Think about that for a minute. I've been there. I'm not immune to any of this. I've been in all these positions. You know, you listen to the people with a greater good, the people who are more successful than you. So you listen to them. And all of a sudden you're not making progress. We're not making as much progress. Because they think that because they did it some way, that you're going to do it the same way as them. I very much doubt it. We can study the patterns and the models, and we can understand how it kind of works as a system. Once we get that, we can understand it as an idea, as an hypothesis. And then we say, I can potentially use that idea. I don't need to copy verbatim what they've done. I could just understand the idea. And if the idea has got some sort of legitimacy, some flexibility, some movement, then maybe I can adopt some of that on top of my idea. Right? Another reason why people you're following people for entertainment reasons instead of education reasons. Think about that. There's an exercise I do with everybody that I work with. We call it the time audit. And in it, we break down how people use their time. And one of the questions is, how much time are you spending following creators that aren't helping you grow? You know, they feel like you're not where you want to. You think that distracting yourself with entertainment helps you grow or helps you reduce the frustration or anxiety. And this is a whole nother conversation. But that distraction distracts you from the internal dialogue that you're having about yourself, about your beliefs, about what you're capable of, which aren't even true, by the way. But it's distracting you from that self-talk long enough so that you can move on to the next thing, which is probably another distraction. Because what you really want to do, you haven't figured out how to do. You're stuck in nostalgia. You believe in the lie, right? So your beliefs are all in whack. So the best thing to do is escapism. The best thing to do is distract yourself, because that feels way more better than the discomfort that you're going to have to feel eventually to grow to the next level to solve the problem. Because that's what's really happening. You don't have the knowledge, the skills, the beliefs, the patterns, or the habits yet to be able to solve the problem. And because you don't know how to solve the problem, this is easier to watch Netflix. It's easier to eat crisps. It's easier to go down the pub and have a beer. It's easier to go and talk to your mates and not actually solve the situation and keep that dream of this life that you want as a dream. You keep talking about it to people or not. You keep internalize it. And you convince yourself it's not going to happen. So I was just watching more entertainment to distract myself from the dream that I'm never going to create. So education creates momentum. The right education creates exponential momentum. The tools that I'm sharing here hopefully helping you starting to break apart the lie that we've all fed into and believed from education, from good, well-meaning parents, from this, the establishment that wants to create model citizens, but doesn't have the time to actually understand what I want as a creator or what I can contribute. And just as a side note, the reason that I'm able to sit here and do what I do and have the career that I've had, I'm fortunate that I've had the career that I've had for so long, is because I didn't fit into the system. And it took me a long time to really get that. I really tried hard to be, a part of the system. I went for a job after job after job. I couldn't get a job. I even tried to get in the army, and I couldn't get in the army. I've never even said that out loud before, but yeah, I remember the other day I actually tried to get into the army. I couldn't get into the army. I got to the point where the only thing that I could do, it was like the universe was pushing me this direction, because the last job I went for was stacking pallets in a warehouse, and they said no. And I was like, fuck this. I remember I took my tie off and I threw it over in this river. This place in Bristol, there's a banana bridge in a place called Bemster. Bristol people will know it, the yellow banana bridge. I remember throwing my tie into the river and saying, fuck this, I'm never going to go for a job again. But that was the driving force that made me get into music. I committed 100% into music at that point. There was no turning back. I said, I went for the job to please my mum. I said, Mum, for you, I'll go try, but I'm going to, stick at this music thing. And I couldn't get a job, and so I went 110% into the music. That was the driving thing. That was like the final thing that was like, I said goodbye to conventional, to the conventional, the job of that society, of that structure. I just waved goodbye. Said, you know what, I'm going down this road now. And I know there are a lot of people out there who are ready to make that move. You just need support. You just need a nudge. You just need to hear information constructed in a way that makes sense to you. We all do. Right? If I didn't see the film Wildstyle, right? If my brother didn't have a sampler, if I didn't have the school give me the room, I didn't have a few of those things in the right order, I'm not sure where I'd be today. I'm not 100% sure where I'd be today. But as it happened, I saw a film called Wildstyle. That totally blew my mind when I was 14 years old. It inspired me. I wanted to be like what I saw in this video. I wanted to breakdance. I wanted to rap. I wanted to be a graffiti artist. I wanted to be a DJ. And I did it all. At 14, I tried it all. But, DJing was the one thing that stuck. I took that idea, took it to the school. And I convinced the school to give me a room every Friday. And at 15 years old, I was holding my first school disco. And then I convinced the youth club to do the same thing. Me and my brothers, we convinced the youth club to do the same thing. We did a party there once a month. And then after that, we did it in a squat in Bristol, St. Luke's Road. And I just kept building and building and building and building. I didn't have the whole picture. I just knew one thing. I knew I needed to do this one thing. And then when it came to music, I knew when I went to a recording studio in London for the first time, and literally I saw the light. Listen, there's like this room filled with lights, and immediately I knew it's like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I just knew it, right? I'm getting excited, but I remember because I just knew it was like I was so certain. And I remember my brother's got a sampler, and I'd spent 3 years sleeping in his back room, learning how to use a sampler. That consumed me for 3 years until I mastered how to use this computer sampler. That's all I did. Then I knew, all right, as soon as I mastered that, I needed to learn the sequencer, Atari ST1040 Cubase. I spent the next 2 to 3 years learning that. And then I learned how to use both of them together. And then it was the mixing desk. Then it was like speakers. How do you use it? It was like step by step. I never thought I'd actually I didn't even know. I didn't know I was actually going to make a tune. That's what I was doing. But it was, I'm not making, I wasn't going to make jungle. That wasn't an idea. I wanted to make hip hop. Everyone said, nah, that's not hip hop what you're making. And so, again, I could have just woke up one day and said, yeah, I'm going to be a jungle producer. It didn't happen like that. And you can just, by hearing my story, how crazy it was till I got to that point where I became a jungle producer and it wasn't even a jungle producer, it was like a producer because nobody even knew what jungle was. So there was a name for it. So I just followed my energy, I followed my passion. I followed the energy that was telling me to just do the one thing. Just go that place out, just ask that one person, just do this one thing. That's all I knew how to do. I just kept doing the one thing I knew how to do. I knew there was a group of people around me. I found them. I asked them to help me, to guide me, to share stuff with me. So you don't have to know everything before you get going. You just need to know one thing. You just need to act something. You just need to step into this space. You just need to just know that where you are, you might not be happy with, and where you could be, and you could be happy. That's all you need to know. And if that's enough, then that's cute. Then that's just a bit of curiosity. That's just a bit of openness. That's just like the next step that you need to take. Then that's fine. You don't need to know the whole plan. You just need to know that there's something more that you want to do and you're prepared to explore, to make happen. Join, adapt the canvas. That's what this is all about. So, let me just say that line again. One of the reasons why you might not be making progress is you're following people for entertainment instead of education. Let that sink in. You're stuck in a rut because you're stuck in a rut. Right? You're stuck in a rut because you're stuck in a rut. What you do, often enough, you get more of. Right? To get to the next level, you can't think the same things that keep you there. You have to be able to you have to be able to think up onto a next level. And this is the skill set. And normally we change what we're doing if it's a bad habit to let another bad habit come in. Or something more pressing. That might not solve the problem, but because we're at capacity, we just let it go. And we now got something else to focus our energy on. It might be good, it might be bad, it might not be the thing that we want, but it's more pressing, it's more urgent. So now we think about that. Has it solved the problem? No. We're still in our crazy eight. We're still in our crazy eight. We're still in our reaction, fear, worry, anxiety. Reaction, fear, worry, anxiety. So you're stuck. You're stuck in that motion of reacting to stimulus, not quite knowing what to do. Oh, I want to start this venture. I want to start this thing. But everyone's telling me it's not a good idea. Who are these people? Remember, question these authority. Who are these people? And if you're listening to someone who's not doing the thing that you want to do, and they're telling you that it's a bad idea, then they're not qualified to tell you that it's a bad idea if they're not doing the thing that you want to do. How do they know? Right? Your idea came to you for you to figure out how to make it happen. And the statement that you need, or the question, or the thought that you need is, I wonder, what if? How do I? Could it be possible? Totally different language. So where are the times are going to move a bit quicker on these last couple of ones? You don't know what you don't know, so you don't know it. So this is about operating outside of your awareness. So if you're not making the progress that you want, it's just something there is something that you don't know. There's a skills gap, there's an education gap, there's a knowledge gap. If you knew what to do, you would do it. So clearly you don't know what to do, so that's why there's a gap there. Right? Again, information, knowledge, application of information. Why do most people do the stuff that we're talking about here? Because the bottleneck, the resistance, the thing that holds you back from making the most progress in this situation is you, is the leader. You are the leader in your world. You are the leader in your business. You are the leader in your family. If you are not going to that next level, it's because of the way you're thinking. It's the way that you have your beliefs, your patterns, and your habits, the knowledge and the skills that you've got isn't allowing you to go to that next level. So it's easier to hold yourself back. It's easier to think about, what's holding you back instead of what can propel you forward. It's easier to stay where you're comfortable. And here's the thing, even though we don't like to think about being stuck somewhere that's comfortable, it becomes a habit. It becomes something that we end up doing because it's comfortable for us. It's something that we've always done. Here's the thing. How we do one thing is how we do everything, right? So if you're stuck in one area of your life, it's pretty, a done deal that you're going to be stuck in other areas of your life because you've got one brain. That one brain, one mind isn't compartmentalized into the creative section, the music section, the design section, the XY section. It's one mind, one brain, and how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so that's how it's connected. That's how you're connected. That's how everything works for you. And so sometimes you're going to have to take a step back and recognize this is outside of my skill set. This is outside of my knowledge. This is outside of what I normally know how to do. So with that awareness, what can you do with it? Right? And now's the time to ask that question. I wonder, what if? I'm curious. That's interesting. Right? These questions probe you to go further. These questions probe you to explore. Right? We want to explore. We want to use our imagination, our instincts, and our intuition to do something different. Right? This is where the breakthroughs happen. So what's a quantum leap? Quantum leap is, think about it, quantum leap is the shortest distance to travel, but it makes the biggest change in your life. And that's a thought. Right? So what's another reason why people aren't making progress? Poor work ethic. Giving up too quick. Not resilient enough. As soon as they need resistance, as soon as they have a problem, give up. Oh, it's not working. See, I knew it was going to work. Now, you've got to keep going. You've got to design a work structure that gives you the results that are exceptional. So the Sugar Ray Leonard, one of the all-time greatest boxers we ever had on this planet, he had this thing where when he was going to school, he walked to the bus stop, and then when the bus for school came, he would run behind the bus all the way to school. And his idea was exceptional behavior brings exceptional results. So if you want to create that version of yourself that's succeeding, that's powering through, that's creating a life of your dreams, you have to upskill. You have to become that person now. That person doesn't exist. You don't wait to the future for that person to exist. You create that person now, right? And you live into that, right? You create that person now. You live into that. So here's the final one on why people aren't making progress, and specifically people over 40, is because there's no game plan, they've got a weak mindset, and they're easily distracted. So there's three things all in there. So no game plan, there's no plan, right? Got no plan, you're planning to fail. There's the weak mindset, again, resilience. Resilience is about that resistance training. When you want to get big muscles, you push heavier weights, right? You want to get to a career destination, you have to have resistance. Most people think resistance means stop. Then resistance means work at it. When you figure out a way to push a heavier bar. When the weight's too heavy, what do? You get a spotter. The spotter helps you push the heavy weight. Easily distracted. We talked about that. Why are we easily distracted? Because entertainment soothes us, whereas education tests us. Right? So, thank you for checking out this episode of Adapt the Canvas. Again, if you want to take some of these ideas further to that next level, join the mailing list, adaptthecanvas.com. Book yourself in for a call and let's have a conversation about how I can help you take some of your ideas, some of your plans to whatever next level it is that you see in yourself develop to. If you got value out of this, please tell your friends, tell your other creators who can benefit from this information, from these courses that we're doing, and let them, figure out how they can make progress if they're over 40, right? Yeah, adaptthecanvas.com. Adaptthecanvas.com. Thanks, Nick. Adaptthecanvas.com. Sign up to the mailing list. We've got a brand new workshop coming soon as well, so there'll be a link there so you can sign up for the waiting list for that. And also, I have the Elevation Formula course that I'm developing creators with. So if you're on that career trajectory, you want help developing your ideas, you've got a business that you want help developing, you've got a project that you need help developing, you want to transition from a 9 to 5 into your own business, hit me up, adaptthecanvas.com. Check out Elevation Formula. There's a workshop course designed specifically for creators who are ready to develop themselves to that next level. So I just want to thank everybody. Again, amazing session. Some of the comments in there are great. I've just tried to skim on while I'm talking. So again, got to big up this community, showing up every week, contributing, share these ideas so we can all benefit. Really, really appreciate that. And this is going to be replayed on Facebook and on YouTube as well. If you need to watch the whole thing again, take notes. Loads of blogs are available on the Adapt the Canvas where we talk about these ideas and in a bit more of a blog format, the written format. And the course that we're going to be dropping soon will be a lot more of this stuff every week in a private members course that you'll get a lot more benefit out of, a lot more value out of. We go a lot more deeper with a lot more processes, and you'll be able to get worksheets and processes for you as well so that you can help do the stuff out of the hour of time as well. So thank you again. Thank you for showing up, and I'll see you next week for another episode of Adapt the Canvas. Have a great week.